What is going on, Green Teamers? Welcome back to the latest episode of the Green Teamers podcast. We are back this week with the latest episode. We got a bunch to talk about today.
Yeah.
So, as usual, we'll do the normal roundup of the past 3 games this week. Then we'll take a look at the Celtics as a whole. And then today, of all days, is actually the trade deadline. So, it is one of the best days in the NBA season. At least I think so.
Absolutely. Everybody's got it marked in their calendar. It's a day to keep your eyes peeled to Twitter.
Absolutely.
We'll always be dropping bombs on motherfuckers.
That's for sure. And Marvin will actually have Twitter going. So if there's any recent updates or new trades that are made while the episode is being filmed, we'll definitely talk about that in the moment.
We got you. We got you taken care of.
Yep, for sure. And then there was actually just one point I wanted to talk about is the fact that we normally do try and film weekly. We actually filmed last week. For whatever reason, the computer didn't work with us, so we couldn't come out with an episode, but we just wanted to let you guys know that
technical difficulties.
Yeah, but this is just something we're working through, and it's our first year doing this, so I think come next season or even just the off season, we're really starting to get the hang of things and how things work and they don't work. So please stick with us, and we're definitely working out these technical difficulties. So
we're working on it. We got you guys. We got you.
Yes, sir. But without further ado, guys, let's get this started. This past week, the Celtics had 3 games. They were against the Detroit Pistons, Orlando Magic, and the Brooklyn Nets. If you guys watched last week, you can probably remember that Marvin and myself, we both called that the Celtics should go 3-0, and that, in fact, they did. So shout out to the Celtics, because that's exactly what we asked of them. That's exactly what we needed. Bless you, Marvin.
Thank you.
Marvin said it last week that he believes that we were just a 5-game, 6-game winning streak away from making that first jump of the standings. And look at that, Marvin.
Look at that.
Past Brooklyn, I think we're the 7th seed at this point?
We currently sit at number 7, I believe.
Yes, we are number 7, but we're actually only 4 games out of the 2nd seed and 4.5 out of the 1st seed. So
the East is wide open.
Yeah, East is wide open, and like I said, we're only a 10 to 12 game winning streak in total away from making that jump to the 1st or 2nd seed. So definitely something to look out for, and definitely the wins this time around, they look more convincing.
Oh, absolutely. Way more convincing.
Mm-hmm. We're not just beating bad teams by like 4, 5, 6. We're blowing teams out of the water by 30 almost, it seems like, this past week.
Right.
So.
Now, granted, we played a Brooklyn team without their star 3, and we'll get to more on that later. We played them without their 3, but at the same time, I enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had our foot on their necks, which is what we should be doing, which is what should be the result when you're playing a team without their 3 best stars. Like, if we went into that game and it was a lot closer than it needed to be, or we ended up losing, I would have been heated.
Yeah, that would have been an issue, especially when the Nets, like you said, don't have 3 superstars. That's just a game we have to take advantage of. But before we get into the Brooklyn Nets and that game, let's just talk about the Detroit Pistons real quick. I thought the Detroit Pistons did a terrible job of showing up. It kind of seemed like they weren't even a real team. Yeah.
They weren't ready to play.
They definitely weren't ready to play, and by the end of the game, it just kind of felt like they were, let's get this over with, let's get going, on to the next one.
Right. Definitely phoning it in. They didn't come to play. They already know their season's over. They're in Cancun mentally. Mentally, they're already in Cancun.
Which is crazy because we're not even to the All-Star break yet.
No, not at all.
Something's got to be done in Detroit. But anyways, I just want to talk about Tatum in that Detroit Pistons game because noted he scored 19 of his 24 points in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah.
And I think that's important to note because Jalen, who for the game went 5 of 15. So I think it's important to point out that because we have 2 stars, when one of them isn't having the best of nights, the other one needs to step up.
And that's what we're seeing.
Exactly.
That's what should be happening.
That's exactly what happened for that Detroit Pistons game.
Absolutely.
So shout out to Jason Tatum, especially coming out of halftime when I think at halftime we were only up by a couple. Let me take a quick look.
Yeah, it was actually kind of close to finish the half, start the third quarter. That's when we went on a little run.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth quarter was pretty much a done game.
Yeah, it says 12. Oh, actually, against the Pistons, we were already beating them by double digits.
By halftime?
By halftime? Yeah.
Who are we thinking of?
I was thinking of, I think it was the game afterwards. But point is, for you to come out at halftime, whether you're winning or not, to kind of put your foot on the pedal and extend that lead is exactly what we needed, and it's what we've been missing. So again, shout out to Jason Tatum for that. Another thing I need to note in that Detroit Pistons game is Aaron Naismith, Romeo Langford, and Peyton Pritchard, with 4 minutes left in the game. So in the fourth quarter, with 4 minutes to go, we were up 96-74. That's 22 points. Yes, 22 points with 4 minutes left. We only end up winning by 9. And I just need to note that because
that's a problem.
That's a huge problem. When we're up by 22 with four minutes to go, and even 8 minutes to go, 6 minutes to go, if we're up by that many, we got to be able to give our stars a break.
We only won by 9 points.
We only won by 9 points, even though we were ahead by even more than 22 at times.
One point, yeah.
Yeah. So the margin was 22 points with 4 minutes left, and that's when everybody came in. And then, like I said, end the game, we're only up by 9.
That's like a 18-0, 19-0 run.
Yeah. Granted, I don't think it was 18-0, but they definitely outscored us in those 4 minutes to the point where they had to bring in, I think it was Josh Richardson and Grant Williams back in.
Wow.
And like I said, we got to be able to rest these guys, and the guys at the end of the bench have to take advantage of these. I don't want to call them garbage time minutes, but opportunities. There you go. That's a better way to put it. They got to take advantage of these opportunities, and blowing a 22-point lead, granted we didn't lose, isn't the way to do it.
Doesn't look good for you.
Yeah, doesn't look good for you. And then it kind of, the next game against the Orlando Magic, it's kind of like, well, we're winning again. Do we really want to risk it and put these guys in? And again, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, even Al Horford, they can't be playing 35-plus minutes a night. It just doesn't work, especially if we're not, like I said, we're not even halfway through the season. I consider the All-Star break halfway through the season, and we're not at that point yet. So for them to be playing all these minutes, it wears on them.
Yeah, give Horford a break especially. Give that dude a break. Tatum, I don't think he really minds playing the minutes. But, I mean, at the same time, they're your star players. You want to give them as much rest as possible.
Mm-hmm. And there's always that chance, if, for example, if there's 2 minutes left and we're up 25, there's no need to risk Jason Tatum's health,
Absolutely.
It might be a freak accident. He tears an ACL with 30 seconds to go,
Now we're all pissed.
Yeah, exactly. Those things happen, but this is ways we can manage it.
Right.
But moving forward, the second game was against the Orlando Magic. And speaking of Al Horford, I actually want to give him a shout out because there were, on more than one occasion, there were plays where he stepped up physically and it looked like he turned back the time machine 10 years and was really giving these younger dudes this body-to-body contact, dunking the ball, grabbing that mean rebound.
The business.
So it's kind of hard.
You thought he was finished.
It's kind of hard to judge
finished yet,
Al Horford because those shots haven't been falling lately. But again, when he can rebound, when he can dunk the ball with power like that, sometimes you don't always need that shot to fall. But you can't complain if he hits a three.
No, I've been a fan of Horford. I already know come playoff time, Horford turns into, I mean, you can say playoff Horford. if there is one, he becomes a much better player in the playoffs because he knows his role. He never tries to do too much.
For sure.
And that's what you need in a player.
Mm-hmm.
A player doesn't do too much. All these young cats, they try to do too much a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. And there's that expression that less is more. So,
right.
So you're right. Shout out to Al Horford against that Orlando Magic game. I thought to start the game, we came out with that same tempo. I thought we came out against the Pistons like a different type of tempo, a fast-paced tempo, a winner's mentality. Like we went out there and we didn't struggle to get the cylinders firing.
No.
We went out there, we took a lead, And I think going into the second half, we were up by 10. So we were making all the right plays leading up to halftime.
Everything was looking pretty good. My take again, we're talking about Brooklyn, right?
Sorry, Orlando Magic.
Oh, okay. That game again with Orlando. My whole thing with the Magic is I've never really given them too much
credit. Like you don't worry about them almost.
Right. If we lose against the Magic, I'm more disappointed in a loss than a win. Like a win doesn't impress me all that much. It's nice to hear. Like it just continues the streak, but it's expected.
Okay.
That's what it's more expected. So that win is great, but I was expecting a win against the Magic. I would have been shocked if we lost, which we didn't. So I'm fine with that.
Right.
And the game that we were looking forward to the most, at the same time, and ended up being a good game for us, but for the viewers, not so much because you're expecting to see one of the big three on the Brooklyn Nets perform, but you didn't see any of them. And it ended up becoming a cakewalk for the Celtics. That was. Out of the water.
Speaking of the Brooklyn Nets, moving on to them, like you said, we blew them out of the water to start the first quarter. I think by the 5th minute mark, we were winning like 28-2.
28-2, yeah.
So again, granted, they didn't have any of their stars, but you don't just go up 28-2 playing bad basketball. You know?
I guess you guys are professionals doing this. Like, yeah, there were AAU teams that can get a bucket against the NBA players. Y'all couldn't get a single. I can get a bucket against an NBA player. Like,
you think so?
I think I could. If we were going 5-on-5 against a professional team, you tell me we couldn't get one bucket?
I guess that's true. Get out of here. But continuing on with the Brooklyn Nets, like I said, at the 5th minute mark in the first quarter, we were up 28-2.
Right.
A few minutes into the second, though, that 26-point lead was only 11 or 12.
They started making a nice.
They started making their own run, and I actually noted in my notes that I took for the game is the fact that you've mentioned before that the Celtics will do good things and they'll do it maybe like once or twice, and then instead of keep going to it, 4 or 5 times,
they keep trying something stupid.
They try something else. They start going back to ISO, just chucking up the ball. So I thought the fact that we went from being up 26 to 11 or 12, I remembered your point of making that, because it did seem that we were slowing the tempo of the game down. We weren't taking the smartest of shots, and we weren't moving that ball around.
Now we're playing hero ball. Now we're sort of we sort of lost our way. There we go.
And the crazy thing is these things only take a couple minutes,
That's it.
While you're saying there are AAU teams that could have played better than the Brooklyn Nets, at the same time, damn, this happens every week, guys. The bud gets to me. But like you were saying, an AAU team can score points against the Boston Celtics, but the Brooklyn Nets making that run, us as the Celtics, we have to counter that. A good team counters that and makes their own run, which is in fact what we did. Through the third quarter, we were up by as many as 35, I think, at one point. If it wasn't 35, it's definitely 30 points.
Yeah, we all considered that game a wash by halftime.
Yeah, but it's just that initial run that only takes a few minutes against a real NBA team or a good NBA team. That I don't know how to word it, because the Nets should be a good team on paper.
What it is, we're in a league now where every team can shoot. So a 20-point lead nowadays is nothing.
Yeah, it's literally 6 trips up the
and down the floor. That's it. That's 3 minutes. 3 minutes can get you right back into a game.
Absolutely. So the Celtics did a good job through the third quarter to jump that lead back up to 30-35, which isn't something we've seen from the Celtics this season, except for these past couple games.
Right.
And so that's actually why I want to, after moving on from the Brooklyn Nets game, shout out to the Celtics for killing the Brooklyn Nets and taking a game on them. But the Celtics, after beating the Brooklyn Nets, are now the 7th seed. Is that what I was talking about?
We were the 7th seed, yes.
We were the 7th seed. So we're still the 7th seed, but we jumped that game over the Brooklyn Nets. I think that's only because we've played more games than them, though.
That's the same situation with Charlotte.
Gotcha.
Charlotte as well. Charlotte in the loss column, where
Charlotte has 28 losses.
Okay, where do we sit?
We're at 25.
Losses?
Mm-hmm.
And what about wins?
31 to 28. So the Hornets are 28 and 28. So the 3 games that were in front of them actually are 3 games.
Are really? Oh,
Yeah.
so we're in front of them now.
Yeah.
I was crazy. Like 3 days ago, we were literally behind.
And I think that just goes to show how close, like you were saying, how close the East actually is.
Day by day, it fluctuates.
Mm-hmm.
All of them.
Yeah.
My next question is, how far are we from being the top 4 seed?
Top 4, we're only 3.5.
In total?
Yeah, 3.5 away, which is the Chicago Bulls, who are the 3rd seed. We're only 3.5 games away from them.
And who's the 4th seed? Milwaukee?
Cleveland Cavaliers.
And they sit, what, like a game ahead of us?
Yeah. So they're technically tied with Chicago. We're both 3.5 games behind them.
3.5 games. There's about 4 or 5 games left until the All-Star break. If we go 5 straight, we might be able to finish as a top 4 seed.
You think so?
Yeah.
But that would also we would need some help from one of the other 2 teams
Also
by them losing.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
But no, you're right, and that would be a great place to sit in, because from the beginning of this season to even just maybe a month and a half ago, just some of the podcasts and what we were talking about.
We're sitting at 10, 11.
Yeah.
No, 10 the lowest. But.
Yeah. So if we could go into that weekend as the 3rd or 4th seed, like I said, I think that would be a great place to be sitting at.
That would be amazing.
Like I said, I consider it the halfway point. So to go into the second half as the 3rd or 4th seed and on a good run of games, I couldn't ask for better, and I think that mentality would go a long way as well.
You couldn't ask for anything better.
But anything else you want to mention about the Celtics as a whole, as their record?
Record, not so much. That's a week by week case.
Mm-hmm.
We're riding a 6-game win streak. We have, I believe, between today's Thursday, between now and the All-Star break, which is, that's gotta be next week, right?
We have our next game is Friday, February 11th. So tomorrow. So we have a game. We can bring up the next week. Yeah. We have a game against the Denver Nuggets on Friday. We have a game against the Atlanta Hawks on Sunday. We have a nice game against the Philadelphia 76ers on Tuesday. And
James Harden on Tuesday,
which we're going to bring up in a minute. We have the Detroit Pistons on Wednesday. So we actually have 5 games. 5? Yeah. We got Denver, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Detroit, and Brooklyn.
And then the All-Star break. There we go. Oh, 5-0.
Oh, no. Hold on. Did I jump forward? Okay. So we only have 4 games. I'm sorry. We have Denver, Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Detroit.
Before the
All-Star break. Yeah. Our last game is on Wednesday.
4-0, baby. Let's go.
4-0. Like you said, if we go 4-0 and we get some help from the other teams,
that can shoot us at a 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm. Especially that game against Philadelphia, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Let's bring up the trade deadline real quick.
We didn't forget. We just haven't mentioned it yet. Trade deadline is today. We did mention that part. What we haven't mentioned was the fact that the Philadelphia Sixers and the Brooklyn Nets have made a trade as well. They are sending Ben Simmons to the Brooklyn Nets, as well as Andre Drummond. In return, the Sixers get James Harden. They get James Harden. Oh wait, Brooklyn also gets Seth Curry as well. That's a pretty sneaky pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Sixers also get Paul Millsap, which, take that for what it is. The main caveat was James Harden, and also low key the main caveat as well as Ben Simmons is playing now.
I'm gonna see if I can put it up right here, but all I'm thinking is that meme of Lord of the Rings after Frodo throws the ring in the fire.
Yeah.
And the subtitle is just "It's over" or something like that. But I'll see if I can put it up right now. But That's all I'm thinking, because this
it might have just became a 2-team race in the East.
You think so?
It could have after.
You think that was the difference maker for each team? Like now, each team has traded their disgruntled player, so now that they have a player that's willing to work with the team, you think that's the difference maker for each team?
It benefits. I think the trade benefits at the moment Philly, because Philly needs somebody to just take the load off of Joel Embiid. You got that.
Not even
come playoff time though, it might be the other way around, because Kyrie and Durant, they need that facilitator, because they're just looking to shoot.
Okay.
And Ben Simmons will get you easy buckets. If Ben Simmons was on the Warriors, that team would be done. The season would be over, because Steph Curry, all he has to do is run around. He barely has to touch the ball. He just has to run. They'd be done. So.
Well, that's what actually what I was gonna say is the fact that Philly needed Bill. I was gonna say Bill Simmons. Hold on.
No one needs Bill Simmons. Okay.
I was gonna say is the 76ers needed Ben Simmons to be exactly the player that James Harden is, which is the point guard, but he can get his own shot. He can create his own shot. He can make the shot, but he can also find other people and get them the open shot.
Right.
So the fact that that's exactly what they needed, and that's what they got, I think that's going to help, like you said, help Joel Embiid with the load. And then not even more so that they're going to give James Harden the load, is he's just going to take it. Like he's just a good enough player to handle the load.
That's it. That's all you got to do. And the pick and roll, how are you going to defend that? Like, who do you switch? Like, you can't switch that. That's a nightmare. It's a walking nightmare right there.
Absolutely. So it'll be interesting and exciting to see, because like we mentioned, the Celtics play the 76ers on Tuesday. So that could actually be James Harden's first game. I don't know Philadelphia's schedule, but that could potentially be his first game, and it's in Philadelphia. So they'll have the support of the home crowd. They're going to see James Harden for the first time.
That's a marquee.
That'll be it's a TNT game too, which let me say this real quick, because TNT had the Brooklyn Nets stream against the Brooklyn Nets against the Celtics. They had that on TV, and they lost the stream.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
you were watching it on your phone?
I was watching it on my phone, but the stream was playing it through TNT.
Yeah, right.
If that makes sense. And TNT said we lost power, so we don't have the stream. So we were watching the Philadelphia. I think it was the Golden State against Phoenix or something like that.
Okay.
It was a Phoenix game though, and
they did play each other. Yeah.
We're watching them play, but we're not even getting the commentary. It's the people in the studio, like Dwayne Wade. What's the Candace Parker, Shaq? You know what I'm talking?
So you can hear inside the NBA
while the game is playing, yeah, and we can't hear the actual commentary of the game.
So they gave you the best of both worlds?
No, they gave us nothing. It's the Celtics versus the Brooklyn Nets. Like, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm trying to. I'm not trying to watch the Phoenix Suns.
Wait, isn't the Phoenix Suns usually the later game though?
I'm not sure what happened.
What the fuck are they doing?
But all I know is fuck TNT for that, because that was not cool, man. I lost a good 5 minutes of the game, I want to say. 6 minutes? Yeah, of the fourth quarter.
Did you have to reset your phone or something?
No, it was literally TNT. Like they had technical issues, so nobody got the stream.
Somebody in the studio put the wrong DVD.
Someone unplugged a wire or something. Yeah. But
do you use Comcast as the app or Verizon?
I honestly just use a streaming website.
Okay.
So I don't actually sometimes I'll get the away teams or the other teams stream.
With a league pass, NBA league pass?
No, so you know how there's NBC, what is it? NBCN Boston?
Yeah, Sports Boston.
Yeah, so that you know how there's also that version, but for say Atlanta, for Chicago. Yeah. I'll be watching their stream. So the commentary is mainly
their guys.
Their guys.
How are you able to get that?
It's like I said, it's just a streaming website, and
you can literally get every NBA game.
Yeah, they literally have all the games for that night, and you can pick whatever you want.
Yo, you gotta pay for it?
No, it's free. It's just that, like I said, when they lose the stream, you're out of luck too. So but.
Oh, okay. So does it work like somebody else is streaming that chat?
They're providing it, yeah, and they're just handing out the link pretty much.
Oh, okay. So that motherfucker can decide to change the channel, and then now the stream's gone. Oh, okay.
Right. It doesn't happen often, but it is a
Yeah, them niggas must be getting paid somehow.
negative of it.
They must be getting paid somehow though.
Probably. It's from the ads because you have to click through like 10 ads before you can actually click play. Okay. Unless you have ad blocker, and then you don't need any.
Because I know that one dude who got bought for illegally selling his Comcast cable.
Gotcha.
Like pretty much, like if I had cable right now and I was screening it, and hadn't charging niggas $5 for my service.
I hear you. But before we get too distracted,
we're talking about some burning thoughts shit. Right,
right, that's what I was gonna say. Definitely tune in for the next episode. We're gonna bring you some burning thoughts. We're gonna be smoking Marvin's joint.
Oh, before we even end this, let's say real quick before we even lose time on all of Josh Richardson's gone.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
Motherfucker ain't here no more.
Josh Richardson got traded to the San Antonio Spurs for, what is it, Derek White?
Derek White, which is actually a good pickup. That's I like Josh Richardson, but that's a great trade.
Yeah, Josh Richardson. I was actually a little like at the headline. I was like, damn. That sucks because Josh Richardson was going off from three. Like he was being consistent.
But Derek White can he's a 20 points per game like scorer. Like he can get you 20 a game, and he's a great shooter as well. So you're not missing anything in terms of offense, defense that you're getting from Josh Richardson. Yeah, I would say Derek White's a slightly better shooter though.
Gotcha. I will say, just looking at the stats here, I have his profile pulled up on ESPN.
Yeah, prove me wrong.
In his last 10 games, he's averaging 14 points, but he's shooting 90% from the free throw line, 40% from the three-point line, and 42% overall from just his field goal percentage. Okay. So he's over, like you were saying, he's actually a very good shooter. Yeah. Josh Richardson was already shooting somewhere already pretty close to 40% from three. Okay. So the fact that Derek White is doing that as well, it's not a drop off, you know?
No, you're not.
And like you said, he can get you 20 points. Granted, he's averaging 14, but just as much as Josh can do it every other game, every couple games, I'm sure Derek White can do it as well. Yep. I will say this, though. Derek White is a point guard, and if you see his stats here, it's 14 points and almost 6 assists a game, or 5.5 to be more specific. This
could be a low-key Isaiah Thomas sort of situation.
Well, I'm saying he's taken up a point guard position, and we have Marcus Smart and Dennis Schroeder. So that's got me thinking that before the end of this day, which is actually they only have 45 minutes left. One of them might be gone because 3 point guards with one of them being kind of productive here.
And we still got Pritchard. We don't need all you niggas.
We don't need all these guys. So something's up. I don't know if we're keeping them, but
this Marcus Smart saw that text and he's like,
You think so?
Yeah.
You think
definitely
said they have the Undertaker's theme music playing for Marcus Smart right now.
Him or Schroeder? Schroeder's probably sitting there.
One of them two is a dead man walking.
Yeah, he's eating his German food or whatever the fuck. Like,
he's going somewhere. I guess we got nothing. We can't do anything but wait. Like I said, there's 45 minutes till 3 o'clock Eastern time until the trade deadline is over. So like we said, there's 45 minutes till 3 o'clock Eastern time, which is the trade deadline cutoff time.
Right.
If anything happens from now until then, we'll be sure to put it in the description, kind of like a update.
Yeah, so we'll let you niggas know.
Yeah, so check the description box just for any updates. This has been the Green Teamers podcast. Check out the Burning Thoughts segment coming up. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.